difficulty right now. His microphone speaker isn't working. We wanted to pretty much enlighten you guys of a recap, basically, of what has been or what has been happening with the Brownsville PUB City Commissioners meeting. I know a lot of you have reached out to many of us, uh, voicing your concerns, and more than anything, the disgust and um, how we as a community were defrauded, how we as a community are feeling very upset, hurt, because we were misrepresented by and I have no bones with Martinez other than now. He is an embarrassment to the city of Brownsville. He's an embarrassment to his colleagues, to the people that entrusted him, that voted for him. We thought that by getting rid of the ex-mayor before him, Pat Omada, would give us a change. We voted him in thinking that he had money. He was an attorney. Uh, he was already of older age. He was mature, and that we should feel safe that somebody in that position will not steal from the community because he already had money. And so that was one of the reasons I heard a lot of people that were uh, voting for him felt safe. Well, fast forward, just immediately after taking office, he started his scams. We were just getting rid of Carlos Quintanilla when he was bringing in the Fly Frontera, which was a scam involved with the present commissioners at the time, Charlie Atkinson, Pat Omada, and some of the other board members that were on there that were just pushing for millions of dollars to go to something that was never going to happen. Then we bring in Tony Martinez, and what happens? We have the Tanasca scam. And it's very, very upsetting to me as a taxpayer, as a PUB ratepayer, because I don't have a choice in my businesses and at my house. I don't have a choice to not choose PUB. I have to use PUB. And so when I tried my best to get other utility companies to come and bid, they were telling me that they couldn't because for the simple fact is that the city already had made arrangements to only provide or allow me to have PUB, and so I don't have a choice. Uh, Not even with the trash collection, so I can't even get away from PUB even if I wanted to. So I feel that I've been wronged, that I've been ripped off more than anything else. Ripped off in the sense that we entrusted these people to elect, and when they were running for election, they asked us to trust them, and all along, Tony Martinez had everybody in that city commission under his palms. He was the puppet master, and everybody was allowing themselves to be just manipulated by his actions, by his words, and to enrich himself and his buddies. When people say that we have $29 million left, that is not sufficient. You're talking about 120 million, 118 million. I think it's more than to 180 million because of interest that was collected, the fees that were collected for disconnections to reconnect, all because people couldn't afford the utility bills. Those are monies that should be given 100% to the PUB ratepayers. Now consider this, and these people appoint the people at BPUB. Susan Rubalcaba made a strong statement yesterday, which made a lot of sense. They are an extension of the city commissioners. They're the ones that appointed these people. They're the ones that should hold them accountable for their own actions, but they don't. They kind of wash their hands from the actual fact that just because they appointed them and the PUB board kind of acts on their own, no, they don't. They are responsible to the taxpayers, the ratepayers. We pay for utilities. Now, there's only three cities in the whole state of Texas. Three cities, and I don't know how many cities are in the state. You're talking about over 250 cities, and I don't know how many counties are out there, but only three cities have chosen to have their own utility companies, Brownsville being one. We are the poorest city in the United States, probably 10 or 12 years in a row. That we are also calculated as some of the least educated people, which I don't consider that one because,
Hello?
yeah, you're on there.
I can hear me now?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Ah!
Well, you wanted me to take over.
I appreciate it. But let me. I just did what I don't know what the hell is going on. And thanks, Zeke, for I don't know what the hell's going on. I had to switch cameras, but you can look at all the mess that I have in my office.
Yeah, and for the people out there, I own a trucking company as well as a coffee shop, and so I wasn't expected to come on in the show this morning. So uh, I don't have any problem getting out there and changing tires, greasing the wheels, changing oil. So when I don't have to dress up, I dress up like the person that I am, and that's just a regular working hard person, man.
Yeah, but don't grease the wheels like PUB greased the wheels of the politicos and the board members and the commissioners, because I think that's part of the problem. See, part of the problem, and again, all this information we learned from the audit. It's not like está en los blogs, it's supposition. We learned this from the audit. We learned that they took our money. Now, and this is what you were mentioning. Now they want to say, pues déjame de regresarte este 20 million. We took 120, but here's 20 million. And they expect us to be like, oh, thank you, commissioners. Thank you, PUB. You're giving us back 20 million. You're a businessman, Z. How does that make business sense?
It doesn't. Look, in any business, okay, they took $120 million. All right, I've been explained. So people have tried to explain this to me, and I'm talking about elected officials that have tried to explain to me how the money was used. I don't care how you explain it to me. The money was stolen from us. Okay, it was all a fraud. It was all a scam from the very get go. Okay, but let's just say that for their way of thinking that we have to actually, that we're mushrooms. You know what I mean? That they're just going to feed us crap and to keep us in the dark, and we're supposed to just, accept it. But they took $70 million of the $120 million, and they say that they used that money to pay the fuel that they had locked the price for about 4 or 5 years or something like that. Okay, so they just say they took $70 million. All right, and they said out of those $70 million, we paid $2. This is the way it was explained to me. This is not my numbers, and they're not accurate numbers. It's just a scenario. They used $2 out of $70 million to pay for the fuel at $2, right? Then whatever was different, if it was 25 cents, then us ratepayers, we paid the 25 cents. And then if it went up, which it did, so it kept going up 25 cents, 50 cents, 60 cents, maybe $3, all right? We would pay the difference. So we always paid 100% of those $70 million to begin with, because PUB paid the $2 out of our 70 million. And then we paid the extra money. So in reality, we paid 100%. But still, they were still generating money. So if the rate increase was to pay the $2, then those $2 PUB never paid. So they made money off of our money. As a business person, okay, if I'm charging my customer to do a service, okay, to provide a service, that's what I do. Okay, I provide a service to my customer. All right. And we agree on a rate. Okay. And I understand the fuel surcharge because I'm in the trucking business. Fuel goes up in hours, fuel goes up. We don't get to see the fuel in increments of 5 cents until the following week. So today is Tuesday. Today the fuels of across the United States are released today. That is what we call a fuel surcharge. But it's for the whole freaking week. So if it goes up 10 cents tomorrow, if it goes up 10, 15 cents or 20 cents by the end of the week, I don't get to charge that extra money until the following Tuesday. Okay, now these people, they locked their price at the lowest price ever during the time when fuel was so low. Okay, they locked it. But if I turn around and I tell my customer, hey, by the way, uh, I'm going to charge you an additional 30 cents when it should have been 10 cents. And they're like, why? Well, because now since the fuel went up, now my overhead went up, my tires expense went up, my road service went up, and my mechanics are going up, and so I'm gonna have to charge you 30 cents. But no, we agreed we were only gonna pay extra for the fuel. Yeah, but you know what? I had to hire somebody that was well qualified to my standards, and so they're asking me to pay him more. So therefore, I'm gonna have to give him an increase, and I'm gonna pass it on to you. Well, that's exactly what PUB was doing. They were using our money to pay themselves because they're incompetence. PUB cannot stand alone. The people on the PUB board are rubber stamping everything because they don't have to work for their money. They just pass the increases to us. As a business person, you cannot survive like that. You cannot always allow the taxpayers just to pay for your mistakes. And that's exactly what this city commission and the BPUB is doing. Any any business that shows a loss for a long period of time, if you have a bank loan, every year they expect you to give a review of what you're doing. Okay. But not only them, IRS does as well. And if I keep showing a loss, they're going to shut me down, period. Because they no longer consider me as a credible business. They consider that I don't take this seriously, that this is a hobby for me. Well, it's not a hobby. This is my livelihood. PUB has made so many mistakes that the board knows it, and they're supposed to be business people. They should keep eyes on the numbers, but they don't. They relied on John Brusiak to tell them lies. They allowed Antonio Martinez to make up numbers, fake numbers. As a business person, you cannot go and survive with fake numbers. You cannot invoice people or show a bank that you have a profit when it was never your profit. They're going to shut you down. So why do we keep allowing these people to work inefficiently over and year after year after year? It's obvious that this business of PUB is not a liable, prosperous business for us. We need to shut it down. If it cannot stand on its own 2 feet, we do not need it.
Let me say that one of the things that I think that really bothers me is that they're saying, well, we use some of this money, to help the people of Brownsville. Oh, first of all, you never had a right to take that money.
Correct.
The money was taken under false pretense. It was continued to be taken away by deceit, lies, and manipulation. And they knew it was dead in the water. I mean, Zeke, we've been screaming about it for years now in regards to the raterio that they're doing with Tenasca. It's one of the things that we ran against when I ran against Tony Martinez for mayor. It was one of the main talking points that they're screwing the community. And again, they swore on a pack of Bibles that it was going to be Brownsville's savior in regards to economic development, and it was going to bring great stuff to the city of Brownsville. Well, it failed, and it failed because it never got any traction because nobody else, and this is going back into what you said, nobody else wanted to believe or buy into Tenasca. It failed because nobody wanted to grasp onto it and purchase the other 80% that we had to sell in order for Tenasca to be viable for us. No one bought it except the least educated city in the country. One of
Now,
the least educated cities in the country.
Erasmo, you and I have been fighting these people for over 12, 13 years now, okay? We fought back in the day against the Fly Frontera, and you knew how hard it was for us to be able to show the people, because not everybody had the opportunity, the resources, the time to go to these meetings, to do the public information requests, having to be denied over and over and over the information that we were asking, relying on anonymous people to give us actually documents, inside documents, and then it all blew in their face. The Tenasca was the same thing. We knew that this was not going to happen, but if you remember, in the conversations that were being had, and unfortunately Jason Hills is no longer alive, that we could go back and ask him. Okay. But do you remember that back then they were telling us that we needed this steel company that they were going to pay $70,000 an average of yearly salary, and that we needed all these water resources and that we needed all this electricity. That's the way it was sold. It turned out to be that it was supposed to be Caterpillar, the company Caterpillar, and they were going to do buckets for the pave loaders for the big commercial construction, the backhoes and all that, excavators and all that stuff, and even for the dump trucks, the big ones, the big steel. I mean, they sold, and I bought it. I'll be honest with you, because I was ecstatic of all the business that was going to come to Brownsville. I mean, I was a sucker. I'll admit it. I was a sucker too, man, because I believed, because I was at those meetings. I actually paid to participate in those meetings because I had to be a BDC board member. I don't know, it was like $200 and something a year for the membership, but that only allowed me to be present at the meetings. It didn't allow me to talk to the board. It only allowed me to be fed the information that a lot of people was fed, like you and me, that this was supposed to be a good thing for us. When we realized that this was not going anywhere, but the rates were realistic. The rates were taken out immediately in 2013, immediately, and then 7% increments. The first bunch within 2 months was 13.75%, almost 14%. Okay, in less than 3 months, they said, man, we hit the jackpot. They considered us suckers. They considered me a sucker, and I was a sucker. Okay, I'm man enough to admit that I bought into this crap at the very beginning. But as the year passed by and nothing was happening, we realized that this was a scam, and we started screaming for information, and nobody would give it. But being the fact that Tony Martinez is a disgraced attorney, it doesn't stop him from being an attorney. He knows how to read people. He knows how to talk to people, and he knows how to say certain words that, even though it doesn't sound incriminating, it is incriminating. Just because it don't say it, it's a fraud, a scam, theft, it doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Okay? The fact that he is no longer in power doesn't change the fact that the crime was committed. It doesn't change the fact that there was a lot of people in the PUB board that knew about this and looked the other way. Why? Because they want to be invited to all these parties. They want to be the ones that PUB sponsored this table, PUB sponsored this event, PUB did this, PUB did that. With whose money? The board members are there eating nice steaks and nice shrimp and lobster and getting invited to all these parties and traveling, which they shouldn't, but it's not on their dime. It's on our dime. All they have to do is show up and get all this recognition, get put up in the front of the table, while we taxpayers are outside looking at videos and looking at pictures after the fact. Why? Because we're the ones that are working our asses off to be able to pay for this electric bill. So yes, it was a scam from the very beginning, but we have to also have these people responsible and be charged criminally, because this is not going to go away. The numbers that the audit shows are only numbers that we are able to view. The reality, it's still being held behind us. It's still not being forthcoming. We still do not have an itemized on what the money was used. They just said yesterday, electricity. That's it. So they're going to roll it back to electricity. That's it. But what about the other increases? On top of the 14%, on top of the 22%, are we going to go back, and are they going to go back and lower the price? Because right now the fuel is going up.
Yeah.
So in 2013, 2014, 2015, all the way to 2019, all the way to August 2020, when they officially had no choice, because that's when they told us about it, they still knew about it and they still chose not to roll it back. Now, some of the commissioners that were there from the very beginning are still there. Jessica Tetro and Rose Gowen. Those two ladies, okay, were there from the very beginning, and they were strong supporters of Tony Martinez, regardless if they had any type of falling out throughout the years, but they still voted always on those increases. And the new commission, starting with Nurit Galansky, reappointed Sandra Saenz, knowing full well her relationship with Tony Martinez, knowing full well that this was going on. because she also served on the PUB board. Now, either she rubber stamped everything or she just didn't care. Now, all these right of ways that were supposedly going to be bought, what's going to happen to that money? What's going to happen to those people? That land belongs to us, not PUB. If there was ever any property sold and bought with our taxpayers' money.
Well, let me say, I remember a lot of the conversations that were had during the commission, and I don't know if you remember, but during one of the commissioners' meeting, Tony Martinez actually lashed out at Commissioner Jessica Techo, and correct me if I'm wrong, called her the B word in a public meeting. Uh, I can't remember if it was recorded. I know it was recorded. I think it was a public meeting. What I'm trying to get at is one of the things that Tony was very, very good at, and I think you mentioned this, is that he was dominant, you know, dominant to the point that he controlled everything, everything. And that is our concern, Zeke, with the individuals that are currently sitting at the PUB board. Their close relationship to Tony Martinez. You know, Tony Martinez has been hush hush except for that one interview that he did for Telemundo. Y cuando habló, nomás habló para decir, nomás habló para decir, pues que se queden con el dinero. And you're going like, well, wait a minute. You want us to trust the same organization that screwed us over for 10 years to handle the little bit of money that they have left? I don't think so. But with that said, we cannot only demand that they return whatever is left. They need to return everything. And
Yes.
and in this time, Z, you know, and honestly, I have no idea, no clue how they're going to do it. You know, I don't know, because take into consideration, Z, during these 10 years, a lot of people couldn't make their payments. You know, couldn't pay their light, had their lights disconnected, had to pay reconnection fees. A lot of folks, Z, decide to move away from Brownsville to seek opportunities somewhere else
Or not even invest in Brownsville
and not want
or
to.
come to Brownsville.
I mean, how much money? I mean, can anyone really, really come up with how much money this really cost us as a community? And let me say, folks, again, I'm at 135 with the money that they took from us. That's not taking into consideration how much money our community lost by the lack of economic development, business moving away, people moving away. I mean, the amount is unsurmountable.
Now, remember, they were functioning with our money. Those 135 was our money that they were doing. Now, in the audit, it also says that it was supposed to be used for operations and management. Not 1 cent went to operations and management. That's on the audit. Why are they increasing our rates for operation and management? They already have city fees. They already have their own monies that they have to use to operate with. Why are they insisting? And why did they insist to continue to use our money on top of the money that they already have for them to function? Okay, you mentioned that Tony might have said the B word to Jessica. I don't know, but I will tell you this: she appointed people to that board, and what Susan Rubacava said yesterday made a lot of sense. That the fact is that they are an extension. Now, whether they had a beef or a falling out, all I know is that she voted a lot of times to the way Tony told her to vote. So when I say people that are puppets that are still there, she's one of those puppets. Okay, she knew exactly what was happening. Either she was too dumb to ask the right questions, or she was just told to vote a certain way and look the other way.
Well,
That's it. Let's just be honest. Let's not sugarcoat it. She claims that she was vindicated. No, she is not vindicated. Nobody on that board that are still in that board that was there at the very beginning is vindicated. Okay, because they're all guilty of not protecting us, guilty of allowing this theft to continue year after year. Okay, it wasn't month after month. It wasn't a one
decades.
digit off. No, you're talking about a lot of zeros off. zeros that we cannot, as a community, continue to let it go without criminal charges. If anybody accepted a bribe, a kickback, okay, and bribes and kickbacks are not always monetary. There could be done trips, trip to Disney World, vacations, little trips to somebody's condo at the island, little things that a party here and there, a fancy wine or a dress, shoes, any gifted things in order for them to get a vote is criminal. How many people have gone to prison, Erasmo, in the last few years that never had a record, okay, a criminal record, but we consider them super smart? Dr. Sylvia Atkinson, what is she doing right now? 6.6
Six.
years in federal prison. Federal prison, okay? And what's happening right now to the Gallegos, okay? Indicted,
Well,
never been, huh? What
that's what
happened?
that's one of
Why do we allow another doctor, okay? That's another doctor that we're talking about. People that we entrust to be put on boards only because they flash a few $100s here and there. They give $1,000, but it's not their money they're giving away, dude.
our
It's
money.
all freaking money they're giving away.
One of the things that I think that I find very very funny is how constantly Trey Mendez and a lot of other individuals go like, well, I don't have a record. I'm going like, yeah, that doesn't mean that you're not it doesn't mean that you're not capable of taking boohoo's of money. And again, the individuals that you mentioned, outstanding supposedly citizens in this community. Sylvia Atkinson was revered by many other individuals. I'm still
And
amazed.
feared because she had it, and feared because she had everybody, the goods on everybody.
I'm still amazed how some people out there, pretty stupid, are out there supporting Drew Brown and Priscilla Tipton. These are las achichincles de Sylvia Atkinson. This was her stronghold. These are the individuals she used to continue to steal millions and millions of dollars from BISD, and also, uh, you know, hurt a lot of people along the way. And I know that personally. But with that said, look, I agree in regards to anyone that had anything to do in regards to receiving money, receiving gifts. They need to go to jail because they didn't receive gifts, receive money from PUB. They received that money from us. It's our money that they played with. It's our money that they invested. It's our money that they took. They need to return the money.
You and I are still young enough to work, use our hands, use our feet to survive, and to at least do something to be able to make ends meet. Okay, but widows, people that are disabled, people that have disabled children at home, or husbands, or a loved one that they have to take care of that wish they could get a job but they can't because they sacrifice their time to take care of a loved one, somebody that needs somebody to look after them to be able to survive day by day. Those people are on a fixed income. They don't have a choice. You work all your life, you pay all your taxes, you entrust people to take care of you. And then when you realize that all along they were stealing from you. Now, I know plenty of people that have borrowed money from these loan companies in the downtown area because they're popping up everywhere now. This pay loan, pay by check companies that are everywhere. You start getting into more debt just to pay your light bill. That is ridiculous. In a city that has been plagued by corruption in the last decade, it's embarrassing. Who would want to come invest in Brownsville when you have to be able to give somebody something to be able to do something in Brownsville? It's ridiculous. Either you know somebody, you're not going to do it. And if you don't grease their hands, you're not going to go anywhere. And if you don't know anybody in the permitting department, you're not going to get permits. If you're not doing business with some elected official, the elected official is not there for us to for them to manage the city. They're there to manage the manager. I should not be calling my commissioner. I should not be calling anybody that I know to be able to get something done. But because of stuff like this that continues to happen over and over is why these commissioners, these mayors, these board members get away with it, because we go to them for favors. So we look the other way. Well, at least I don't. But there's a lot of people that look the other way thinking, well, it's just, a few $100s. And then when you realize that it wasn't a few $100s, it was millions and millions of dollars. And then you start looking at the people that can't pay their bills right now. Just to stop the disconnect is only putting not even a band-aid. It's just putting a little bit of saliva on a wound. And I'm going to tell you why. Because you're still going to owe that money in February. If you can't pay it now, what makes you think you're going to be able to pay it next month and the month after that and the month after that? You're still going to owe $1,000 today, tomorrow, 5 months from now. They're not going to roll back those rates. Those people are still going to have to figure out how they're going to pay. And then winter's coming up. How are they going to roll back the money? To what rate is what I'm trying to figure out. But what I really want to know is who's going to be criminally charged? Who's going to be taken out? You mentioned that these commissioners appointed these people. Why aren't they saying that did they know? Because they're supposed to be their eyes and their ears on those boards. Don't you agree?
Yes.
If I put somebody on that board, if I have a manager, okay, I put that manager to take care of other people, but that manager answers to me. That person has to give me the truth or a lie, but he's got to tell me, or she's got to tell me something, whether it be the truth or the lie. But when I find out that there was a lie, am I going to keep that person still lying on me, to me, stealing from me? That's exactly what happened. They let Brusiak continue to tell his lies and to defend himself when he was caught on a lie. How are you going to? The freaking jail is full of innocent people. Some are, but you tell anybody in there, it wasn't my fault.
So you know
Excuse why they did it. You don't think that all these people that are Dr. Sylvia Atkinson in prison up to this date is still saying that she's innocent?
Yep.
That she was a consultant? Oh, you don't think that Armando Villalobos, the ex-district attorney, didn't say that he didn't do anything wrong, that he was that he was innocent? Because he still ran for Congress even though he was indicted. Because they actually think that we are that stupid, that we're uneducated, that no matter what they say, that we elected them to be there. Well, we know that we elected Jessica Tetra only to replace Charlie Atkinson. She was not there by choice. She was the only choice that we had. And anybody with a social security card number at that time would have beat Charlie Atkinson. So I'm not proud to have her as my commissioner, because she was never and never will be my commissioner, even though I live in District 2. Because she doesn't represent me. I could handle my own, and I've been handling my own way before I met her and way before you introduced her to me. And let's just be honest, she's been an embarrassment to the city because she does not do anything to defend us other than want to take pictures.
Well, one of the things that I think that we all can agree on is we want all elected officials to be vocal, every single one. And I think one of the concerns that Frankie brought up in one of his shows was how we had not been hearing from anyone, anyone. Now that the kitchen is hot, now that everything is out there, now we start to see, Zeke, a lot of the politicians, come out of the woodworks and say, hey, aquí estoy. I think it's too late. At this point, it needs to be too late. People cannot go in and buy the same crap over and over and over again. Yesterday at PUB meeting, de repente salió Joey Lopez. Where have you been, bro? Why weren't you a voice before this mess? Now everyone wants to come out and say, hey, yo estoy con la gente.
Deja vu. Remember that nobody wanted to talk about the Fly Frontera?
No.
Nobody wanted to mention it, remember? And then Paramada did that town hall. And it backfired. That's why nobody wants a town hall anymore.
No.
But remember, at the beginning, nobody wanted to say anything. Everybody was quiet. I think the only two people that ever said it, I remember I was quoted in the Brownsville Herald at the time, I called it a scam. You called it a scam, and it took off after that. And not that I'm giving myself credit. Okay, sometimes I don't have a filter in my mouth. All right, so I say it the way I feel it. I say it the way it's supposed to be, and I'm sorry, that's the way I was brought up. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
it doesn't make me wrong. It just doesn't make me want to keep things in my chest. And I don't. I'm not the guy that wants to be the one that says, you know what, I took your money, not because I need it, because I wanted it. Those elected officials that took our money didn't need our money. They wanted our money. And back then, nobody wanted to say anything, but it wasn't time for election. Now, all of a sudden, now that early vote is coming, people are coming out of the woodworks, want to be able to defend us. Where were they when this was happening? They didn't want to say anything. Why? Because those people that are on the board belong or own businesses or work for a bank or some organization, some housing organization, some organization or adult daycare, or they know people and they figure, well, I don't want enemies because if I say the truth, if I really speak my mind, then those enemies become my enemies, and then next thing I know, they're not going to give me contributions and they're not going to vote for me. So really, do they care about us or they care about the vote just to continue themselves in power?
Yeah, and I agree with Marcelo. This has been going on for decades, decades. But now there's actually an official document because let me say, I know that one of the things that PUB was trying to do, they were trying to discredit the audit. We paid over $160,000 for this audit. We did, and we paid $160,000 for an audit on something that some of us already knew. Zeke, a group of us already knew that this was a raterio fest, a tranza. Some of us already knew, but we still had to pay over $160,000 to get a document just to prove everything that we've been saying for 10 years.
What are they doing? They're trying to pay another firm to do another audit to discredit this one audit because they don't like the results that happened. We're not taking another audit that's going to discredit this audit because they already done internal audits. They're supposed to be policing each other. They're supposed to be holding each other accountable, but there's no accountability. They want this to go away, Erasmo, as quick as possible. They don't like the attention because it's negative attention on them. We finally got caught, or they finally got caught, excuse me. There's what they're saying. We finally got caught. Now let's just let it diffuse. The people are going to go away. Something other is bad's going to happen and it's going to just die down. No, it's not going to die down. The bills are still coming up. I don't know how people are going to pay their bills when they don't have the money to pay it, man. I don't know how those people are going to forget that this is happening to them because they're not going to roll it back, or the disconnect doesn't stop to February of next year, of 2023. You still have the rest of this month. You still have the month that's coming in November. You still have December. You still got January. Three of the holidays that are supposed to be giving you joy because one, you're coming to the end of the year. Two, you remember that Christ was born. Two, Thanksgiving is coming for us to realize that we are a family, that we live in this country that's free, okay, that we're able to choose our religion and choose a lot of different things. But we also have a time where it's very depressing. A lot of people during these holidays are the worst time in their lives because they want to give to their families. And now with social media and all these commercials that you need to give somebody an expensive gift to show them that you really love them. Kids now expect a present because that's how mainstream media and everybody out there is showing them that if you're loved, you're going to receive a present. And what about those parents that can't get one to their kids? What about those parents that can't have a Christmas tree or because they got to pay their PUB bill? If not, it's going to get worse for them. They're not going to have no electricity, no water, nothing. Now, a lot of these houses nowadays, it's all electrical. You cook with an electric stove. The heater is electric. The air conditioner is electric. The refrigerator is electric. If you don't have electricity How are you going to feed your family? If you're a father, a single father, or a father that singly works, the only breadwinner in that house, and you're working your butt off to make ends meet, besides the rent, besides clothing, besides school supplies, besides transportation, besides insurance, besides taxes, now you have to worry about electrical bill. Imagine the stress that we just went through 2020 and the pandemic where people didn't have work. Now tackle on another stress about paying your electrical bill, and then to realize that all along you were misled and that you were ripped off. Imagine what it does to your ego. How are you going to explain that to your kids? How are you going to explain that to when you cannot have electricity for them, man? Now
See,
everything is done online. Your
see,
homework is done online.
everything. See, think about this. How many, and the folks out there, how many vacations were you not able to take because of the money you were paying to PUB? Think of it. I mean, we all got gypped, guys. 36%, guys. And that's like 100 and some $200 a month. Talking about $1,200 a year. That could have gotten you easily a nice little trip to San Antonio or something with your family. How much was taken from you? You had to limit yourself. Something that Zeke mentioned is these people, they don't limit themselves because they're not eating Rutledge burgers. They're not eating Stars burgers, guys. They're eating steak and lobster from the money that they took from you and your children. Y no se tocan el corazón. They don't care. They don't care if your grandparents, couldn't buy their medicine today, their insulin, their meds, because they had to pay their light bill. They don't care. And that's what the problem is. There's no conciencia, in regards to the harm that has been done to this community.
Mi mamá, que paz descanse, ella recibía dinero de su retiro, pero mamá ya recibía insulina, tenía que tener su medicamento de alta presión. 2 veces tuvo cáncer y 2 veces ella ganó el cáncer. Y no digo que no me duele que ella falleció, me duele porque ella batallaba mucho en tener las cosas que ella quería porque no la permitían. Y dijiste por qué. Cuando Dios me pudo ayudar a mí de poder tener más para darle a mi madre, me la castigaron, me le quitaron los beneficios del Medicaid, porque yo le daba dinero a ella para que ella pagara la renta, para que ella pagara la luz, para que ella podía pagar el carro y para que ella podía ver sus novelas, le pagaba el cable. Cuando Medicaid le pidió una contabilidad de su cuenta de bancaria, le quitaron esos beneficios. Lo que batallé yo y ella escribiendo cartas al número social, al Medicaid. ¿Sabe lo que me dijeron a mí? Porque yo tuve que mandar cartas notarizadas que yo tenía el dinero para darle a ella. Tuve que enseñar mis ingresos y me dijeron que yo no podía darle más a ella, más de $150 al mes, más de $150 al mes a mi madre, para que ella en su tercera edad podía ella estar de acuerdo con la vida que ella trabajó para gozarse, para que se hiciera su pelo, para que se pintara, que le pintaran sus uñas, para que no batallara. Me dijeron, lo más que tú le puedes dar a tu madre son $150. ¿Por qué? Porque si le das tú más, le vamos a quitar los beneficios. Y ahora, yo me acuerdo que si yo le podía dar más a mi madre, le daría todo, pero no pude. ¿Por qué? Porque tuve que yo darle menos para que ella no pudiera perder sus beneficios. Ahora, esta gente, mi madre me tenía a mí, pero hay muchas madres que tienen hijos que no pueden darles. Y si les dan, tiene que ser muy limitado. ¿Cómo van a pagar esta gente, estas viudas, estas viejitas, estos viejitos, su luz cuando es más de lo que ellos ganan? Si ellos ganan $800 o $1,000 al mes, de ahí tienen que pagar la renta, de ahí tienen que pagar las utilidades. Y si las utilidades son $1,000 y la renta son otros $600, ¿de dónde van a sacar? Ya no pueden trabajar, ya están deshabilitados. Y ahora como hijo no les puedes ayudar porque luego pierden sus beneficios. ¿A dónde vamos a dar? Y esta gente, como dices, no se tocó ni se pusieron la mano en el corazón de ver cómo la gente está sufriendo ahorita.
Súper.
¿Quieren que nosotros nos olvidemos de lo que está pasando, de lo que pasó, de lo que hicieron? No. Nosotros, tú, yo y todos los ahorita, que la gente que estamos peleando por ustedes, lo estamos haciendo porque nos duele lo que hicieron, nos duele lo que están haciendo y nos duele que no ha habido nadie que ha tocado ni una queja, ni los han corrido, no han batallado para nada, no sufren como la gente sufre, como nosotros sufrimos. Da coraje.
Da coraje. Da mucho coraje. Ah, es un honor estar con Zig Silva. Este Mateo. If I don't have a conscience, then we, the citizens of Brazil, should not either send them to jail now. And you know, and this is where we're at right now. This is where we're at right now. First of all, return the money. Second of all, anyone and everyone that had anything to do with this Tanascames should go to jail. And third, we need safeguards in place to guarantee that this never, ever, ever happens again.
This charter thing that they're doing, and you and I talked about it yesterday, it's going to happen right at the time of the election, and they're not going to let it pass. They're not going to change the charter because it's going to be in May. Elections for the city commission is in May. And then if there's a runoff, they have to wait. They're not going to make this vote happen, if ever, until November of 2023, if ever, because they're trying their best to make it seem like they're working hard to change this when they already know they can't. Every 2 years, they got to change the charter. And the next time around is until May. And what happens in May, like I said, city commission. And who's up for that? 4 seats in the city commission. That means that those people are going to be able to reappoint other people or reappoint the same people, or the same people are going to stay in power. So neither are you going to be able to get out Sandra Science or none of the people on the board, okay? Which is the most conflicted person right there right now is Sandra Science, which is the chairperson of that board, okay? You're not going to be able to get her out because you have, like we found out, it has to be a unanimous vote, not even a nay, not even somebody that's going to abstain. Even an abstain is a no for somebody that's conflicted out. So that means that either everybody votes yay or it's a nay. It's not gonna happen. And then for us to be told that it's gonna be in May, the soonest it happens, come on, you and I both know it's not gonna happen. They're gonna say, oh, we gotta give the opportunity for the new people that are coming in to see what they want to do, because this is an important vote. Same thing that happened with the back ban, remember? Same thing that happened with the back ban. That was another scam until they were told stop or you're going to go to freaking jail. Okay, we cannot be playing games with people with our money, man. Just because they don't have qualified people to run the city, they don't want to admit that they're doing a lousy ass job. They're doing a lousy job. That's why we're the poorest city, because we keep allowing these people just to tell us whatever they think that we are gonna buy. Well, we're not buying it anymore, man. Quit selling it. I ain't buying no crap. I never liked the way it smelled, and I'm never gonna taste it. But I'm definitely not. Don't even want to look at it. And right now, these people ripped us off, man.
No
There's
doubt.
no ways about it. They ripped us off. They have ripped us off for so many decades. We are fed up of being considered stupid people, man. Because I'm not stupid. I don't think you are either. And I don't think anybody watching here and anybody in the citizens, we are beautiful people, man. We are beautiful in every which way. Everybody has something. And we all, you know what we do have in Bronzeville is common sense. And we know when this is wrong.
And it is very wrong. Yeah, if you're on YouTube, guys, please like that, smash that like button. It helps. Well said, Mr. Z. Same here with my parents, and then this mother f get all they want. Yeah. Uh, you opened our eyes to all this. Now let's go for the throat. Let's push it for all of them to go to jail. Guys, let me tell you again, one of the things that I've been very, very consistent on, when you go after these folks, you have to go for the jugular without a doubt. Because sabes is one of the things that really freaks me out because once you start to become vocal, and you've known this, you've experienced this, tú eres el malo. You're just the negative. Tú eres el que nomás no cree nada. You know, they make you the villain. It's happened to us. But in el tiempo that they're doing it, they're pocketing your money. So, okay, somos hocicones, we're loud, we get upset. We don't take your money. We don't pocket the resources that this city produces. They do.
You remember that famous line that they always told us that Pat and Tony Martinez would say? Then you find a solution. You run for the seat. Well, you ran for the seat, but that doesn't give you just because you say, "Well, it's not easy being here." You chose to be there. You chose to put your name on the dot on the line and the ballot. You chose those things. You wanted to represent us. You wanted to make a difference. We didn't put you in those spots to rip us off, to think that we're stupid. Just because you say find a solution, we are telling you, we are giving you the solution. Get rid of the people that ripped us off, lock them up. If you need to lock yourself up, lock yourself up. If you need to contact the FBI, we are trying to contact the FBI.
Every day.
You know, this is not going to stop. The FBI is aware of what's happening. The district attorney knows what's happening. The U.S. Marshals know what's happening. You think they're going to let it go just because we don't see it, just because we don't hear it, doesn't mean it's not happening. They're looking into this. We know that. They were there present. You saw them. I saw them. Okay? They were there. There was no denial that they were speaking, the FBI and the state district attorney, to the PUB board before the first meeting of John Brusiak. I saw fear. I did not see one thing other than fear in their eyes. Because somehow, some way, most of them, all of them or some of them, received some kind of gift,
Benefit.
some kind of benefit.
Uh, and one thing, uh, and I think we've made it very, very clear, um, we're not stopping.
We're not going away.
We're not going away, guys. You know, now, and then, let me say, at times we may get frustrated, but we're not going anywhere. Let me just read this one. And don't let the commissioner come swinging his chanclas at us and say that some of the money has already been used for subsidies and help people. So he already telling us that we already used some of the money. He always comes on your show to defend them. He is good at crapping us. I'm so sorry to say, but I really believe this. Let me say, guys, this is one of the things that was mentioned last night, and I refuted. I refuted Commissioner de los Santos. I don't care. I don't care what they try to say now in regards to. Well, we used the money for you. I don't care. You shouldn't have taken the money in the first place. It was not your money to take. You took it under deceit, under manipulation, and out of blatant lies. Oh, we want the damn money back. But who we don't want back, we don't want Vito Cardenas back.
Hello, Z.
Hello, how you doing, Vito?
Of course not, because when you do what's right and not convenient, people don't like you.
Well, let me tell you, you got voted down.
I know I did.
For being on the Charter Review Committee.
Because we passed the term limits.
Let me say,
and the thing there too is it's the same board. Nobody changed. Everyone that's on that board was on that board prior, except for 2 slots.
No, let me ask you. Either.
Ask me.
Let me ask you. I dress nice. Let me ask you.
Ask me.
Is it unreasonable for the people of Brownsville to want their money back, to want anyone that had anything to do with this go to jail, and to put safeguards, place safeguards in every single committee, board, anything, so that this never happens again. Is that unreasonable?
It's not. It has to happen. And people that are starting to be put on boards are starting to follow in that direction. We're starting to, everyone's opening their eyes that, look, we need to do what's right and just. And same thing, perfect example. You're going to build a house, right? And the guy doesn't, he gives you the plans, but it never gets built. Do you get your money back?
You better.
Right? I mean, he made the plans, but he didn't follow through all the way to the end. So that means you get all the money back, not
And
just
what
a portion.
And what is that called when you give somebody money for services that weren't rendered?
That's theft of service.
There you go. And if
So-
they deliberately deceived us,
So
that's
this,
theft by deception.
what they're saying is, oh, we're gonna it's been used and we used it here. The money belongs to the people.
The PUB ratepayers, yes.
So the thing is if because it did not come to fruition, they have to give all the money back.
Well,
Not just a portion. Oh, well, it got used for this. No. There was a plan. The plan never got completed.
give it back.
So let's get all the money back from the attorneys that didn't do anything. They need to fork out the money that was given to them to do a job, not to read emails. No, a job that was never completed. So it's not about, oh, what is it, 19 million or whatever they're saying that this amount we can
29 million.
we can maybe give back to. No. It's got to go to what the people put into it. And then you have to think of the people that are deceased, that have passed away. Where's that money going to go to? Who gets that? People that have moved away. This is the biggest mess ever of the city of Brownsville.
It's a big cluster.
And the bad thing about it is we entrust these people to do what's right and they don't do it.
Now, I want to mention something, and I just the PUB workers, the staff, and I'm talking about not upper management. I'm talking about the guys and the girls that go out there and reconnect our lights, that are digging holes, or doing dredges. This is not their problem. They're doing a job, and I don't want anybody to think that only because they work at PUB that we're going after them. No. We're going after upper management, the attorneys, the board members, the ones that voted for this to happen, the ones that conspired for this scam, the one that conspired to rip us off, not the ones that are barely getting by and doing a job. Not those people. I just want to clear that.
They're not the decision makers. They're the people that work for a living. The thing is when is enough? And we've gotten to that point, especially with this mess with PUB. And this didn't start, everyone looks at it that it started at this time period. No, this started back when Pat Humada was mayor the first time around, when Tanasca started to get momentum and all of that. Then Eddie Trevino was in on it when he was mayor. Then it kind of drizzled down when we had Mayor Vela, and then it got wind again when Pat Humada was mayor again. So this is something that's chronologically started back. This has been going on and on and on. And everyone was always discussing that, we all knew that even before this one got dropped off out of the sky and landed in Brownsville under the Witness Protection Program.
I just don't understand how all these companies consider us the place to come and try their scams, because we have so many businesses that come from out of state and just say, hey, there's a whole bunch of suckers down there in Brownsville, Texas. And these elected officials are so stupid that they just want to throw things out there and let's see if it sticks. And then all they need is 3 or 4 people to buy into it in the commission, and that's it. It's a done deal. Look at Paragon. What happened to Paragon? What? Okay, they had their own money, they had their own financing, and they were billionaires. All of a sudden, all these hype, and then now they're gone. What happened to that? What happened to all these space companies that were going to come down? I mean, we're being fed so many lies
Crap.
just to throw us off the track. You know what I mean? They just want to throw everything at us so that we're chasing our own tails and divert the attention away from what the reality is, that they keep ripping us off, and that this is not just 120 or 130. I think we're reaching way over 150 million. We're talking about maybe 300 million, because they never used that money. They never used. So they took away 130 million dollars. That means 130 million dollars they did not touch. So where's that additional 130 million that they made in profit?
That's crazy. Let me say in regards to the mayor. Look, I sort of believe that they're all scrambling, and not in a bad way. It's just like it's kind of like one of those. What the hell do we do at this point? Type of situations. It's very simple. Just do the right thing. Return the money to the people. Make sure that anyone and everyone out there that needs to be prosecuted gets prosecuted. Anyone that had anything to do with this Alaska thing. Remove anyone that has any these business connections with Tony Martinez from these boards and committees everywhere, and make sure that there's safeguards in place that this never happens again. Why is that so hard, Rito?
Because when you cross that gray line in our world, you can't come back from it. And they say we have more homeless people downtown. No, we have more homeless people that are getting rich.
Too much. And let me say, there is a meeting today, guys, at 1:15. I will be there. Some other folks are going to be there, and
In the city of Brownsville, or where?
the city of Brownsville. Yes,
In reference to what?
that's the second special meeting in regards to
PUB.
discussing Tanasca, PUB, and everything else again.
In front of
Really? I
the,
thought it was at 5 o'clock.
1:15.
And so the one to 5 o'clock was moved up.
Uh, I think it was scheduled for 1:15.
it was scheduled for 1:15.
Yeah. So please, anyone that's going to wanting to speak, please submit right now. I agree with Georgina. God help us. I want my money back. That is the center. But something that Vito mentioned is so true. How do you make restitution to people that are no longer here?
Yeah.
And how do you feel, Vito, in the fact that PUB sponsors all these nonprofit actually that are coming up in the next year or so? And we're talking about that everybody goes to PUB for donations, for sponsorships of 10,000, 5,000 for all these organizations that are happening in our city. And they continue to give them for all these VIP tables and all these sponsorships. How do you feel about the fact that these people continue to do it in the PUB board, and only for the PUB board members to come out in parades, to come out in different organizations and sponsor supposedly to help the community? Because that's what they're basing themselves, is that they give some of that money back to the community. Do they really?
Well, like every entity has a marketing department that has to, in some form or way, fulfill their obligations to give money back, in whether it in nonprofits, in helping out the community in some way, enriching the beautification of Brownsville. Every company has it. It's up to us now to see where the money's going and why is it going to this, because there is some good organizations out there that do need money. Moody Clinic is a perfect example. They do a great job for our kids and not receiving anything out of it.
But we're talking about company. Like, I own a company, but it's
Right,
my
you own a
money.
And if your company was bigger than what it is, you would have a marketing director to go
No,
out.
no. But that's my money. It's
Right.
my money. PUB is not a company that generates from hard work. it has a service that it provides, and the city taxpayers, we, you, and everybody else own it. Okay,
Right.
we own that. Okay, so we technically are being ripped off right now, and they're saying that some of this money was given back, but why doesn't everybody benefit from it? Why are the PUB board allowed to sit in the front of the stages and everywhere else when nobody else gets permitted? So if a company like me that asks me for a sponsorship,
Right.
I get to invite my employees because I'm paying into it. Okay.
Right.
I give them kind of like, you know what? This is an incentive for working for me. You get to go to this show that I paid for out of my profits or no profits. It's my money. But PUB is owned by the citizens of Bronzeville, by the PUB ratepayers. Okay. When they don't have the money, what do they do? What did they do? They stole from us or they increase our rates. But who benefits, Vito? Do the board members benefit? Do you benefit? Do I benefit? No, I don't. If I want to sponsor a table for $2,000, it comes out of my pocket. I can't go and tell you, hey, Vito, I got to pay $2,000 and you're going to give me $100 per table or per seat. You're going to say, well, why the hell? Why would I give you my money to show? Am I going to be invited? No, I just want your money, bro. I mean, do you think that they continue? They should continue?
Well, I believe that the money that it's not coming out of, it's coming out of the profit of the what we're paying in rates.
So to the board members,
It's not
okay, there's one thing in giving the money, and there's another thing for the board members to be able to participate and eating the steaks and eating all these fancy dinners and the wine and stuff like that.
that's irrelevant to anything.
No, it's not. No, it's not irrelevant. I'm going to tell you why it's not irrelevant.
Because
Okay? Because the board members are there not to be wined and dined. This is part of the reason why they rip us off, man. Because they are entitled to certain perks by serving on the board.
and it's to me that's a moot point. The biggest
Why would it be a moot point?
Because it's something, now you want to complain about that.
No. I'm asking you a question. I'm not complaining. I'm complaining about the perks as to why people want to serve on the board.
Yeah, but then this should have been brought up a long time ago. Before
it has been brought up a long time ago.
Every year it happens. They donate to Charo Days. They donate to Sombrero Fest. They donate to Mr. Amigo. They donate to Don Just Dogs. They donate. They donate all over across the board.
We're not talking about the donations. We're talking about the people that donate to participate. Representing the PUB are the same people that voted to increase our rate taxes.
Or not. It really, like I said, it doesn't really matter. The problem.
It does matter. It matters to me that they're using my money that they took away from me to be sitting eating steak. That's what matters. When other people cannot pay their bill or cannot keep food on their table, so they're eating out of our money.
Why haven't you been fighting it from 10 years ago?
What?
Exactly what you're discussing.
I have.
I have. First time, I've never seen you at any PUB boards. When I've gone, I've never heard anything on
social. Just because you don't see it doesn't mean it happens, Vito.
It's this would be something that people would get behind you.
Why would you say something that stupid? Just because you didn't see me didn't mean it didn't happen.
Oh, okay. So you tell me, when did you start complaining about all this sitting on the boards and stuff and them eating here and there? Tell me.
Why do I got to answer to you?
Oh, okay. There you go. Because you have no answer.
No answer?
Well, I've been fighting the boards and committees for a long time.
Yeah.
I've been fighting the boards and committees.
I've been going to BEDC meetings and GBEC meetings and stuff like that when all this was happening decades ago, man. All I'm saying is that why should these board members participate in events when it's not their money to be participating? If they want to show up, they need to pay out of their own pockets, not us paying for them to show up, is what I'm saying.
Where's this question? So hold on. So what really happened to BISD with the 900,000? They got scammed.
Yeah,
it was over $1 million actually.
It's like 1.2.
Yeah, well, that was 1.2 was from PUB. BISD just got scammed 1.1, over $1 million, yeah. Over $1 million as well. We're still trying to figure out. They're trying to keep it as hush hush as possible. I wonder what all these educated enriched rats sleep at night. Who's the Constanza? That's Vito. He is on the board of
The Brownsville Charter Review,
Charter Review Board.
which I was. Well, no, I had all the votes, so
Now you had one negative
one
vote, one
negative
nay
vote.
from your compadre.
That's all right. I still love Roy de los Santos.
Well
He's doing a
said,
good
G.
job, but he's still questioning things.
But the donations are from our money. Yes. Circle. And look, guys, this is part of the issue that a lot of the monies that were used for all this stuff. And look, I'll make mention of the. I'm not trying to kiss Vito. I'll make mention of the. One of the things that bothers me about the MIDI district, and I'm still supposed to have brunch with Dinah MIDI,
Yes.
with the MIDI district or the MIDI Foundation, is how the attorney went up to the city commission and slapped the crap out of him, and said like, "Ah, we're the greatest thing that's ever happened to Brownsville," and still, the MIDI district or foundation, one of the two, and Donna
Right.
Sure goes out there and asks for $200,000 from the citizens of Brownsville.
For the Midi Cultural District,
Yeah,
which is the umbrella of all the entities that have to
All the
do
rest.
with the museums,
so
the zoo,
if it's so
Camille
great,
Playhouse.
if it's so great and they're doing all this stuff for us, why are they still taking our money? And again, it's just, it seems like we have like an open checkbook to anyone and everyone out there. Ahí les va, lo que quieran tomar. Except when the people of the city of Brownsville demand that they get their money back for being lied to. A circle argument. I was brought up and can be brought up at any time. It's called accountability across the
Yeah.
board.
It can, but you can bring it up, but unless you do something, it where is it going to go?
Because they go, hey, pelon, this is PUB stole from us. This man has the right to claim what's his regardless how long he's been fighting for it.
Right. We do have that right. But right now, we need to fix the Tanasca part and get everybody's money back. And not an amount that, we've used it. No, the entire money. Not because that's what's owed to us. We were giving a what's the word I'm looking for? Kitty.
A kitty?
They told us that they were going to build something. It didn't come to fruition. And because monies were spent, yes, but because it was not completed, like I said, it's like building a house. They come and give you the plans and everything, and then they don't even come and do the foundation. So you're going to get your money back from that person, whether you have to take them to court or whatever to get money that was paid to do a project. The project was never completed.
Yes,
you get all your money back, not just a percentage or this and that. Everything comes back to the citizens.
No nomás la puntita.
Exactly.
Just because they got caught is the reason why they're giving us this money back. It doesn't change the fact that they misled and they ripped us off.
Yeah, and
somebody has to go to jail.
Let me say,
and it's not going to happen. We've seen it time and time again.
Yeah,
and nothing's ever happened.
Well, take into consideration, guys. This is one project. This is one PUB project. This is one city of Brownsville project. One. How many projects have we had in the past 10, 12 years?
Oh.
In the past 20 years? How much money have we been taken for? Let me read this one. No, they cannot keep our money. We want all of it back, not just part of it. We paid our bill in full, so why should we be fine with just half? No, we never got a donation for our payment, so why should we give for donation? They mean to say donate to their pockets. This mayor needs to go. He believes that the people of Brownsville are stupid to fall to his abuse. Thinks we are ignorant. No, we are not. And we can fight because they took from our home, our families, our grandparents, aunts, uncles, children. This is insane. I added the last word. I didn't know what it was. See, thank you for your involvement. Maybe we need to get a refund themselves from all their purchases made with their people's money. No more impunity. Guys, we're past an hour.
Yeah.
Don't they have insurance for these kinds of things? That's one of the things that we're going to be asking.
That is a good question there, because it would fall back under the insurance of PUB if because of the deception
And if they do pay it off of the insurance, and if they did have insurance, which I hope they did, which they probably will, um, their insurance rates are going to go up. And who do you think they're going to pass that on to?
Oh, was
Well,
probably us.
exactly.
Guys, have a great day.
That's easy.
I will be on the road this evening. I will be getting my muelas fixed because I'm suffering. Yeah, and you didn't bring me any damn cookies.
I thought you had false teeth.
I know. Well, the bridges, a couple of them. No, my teeth are still mine. Guys, have a great. Thanks, Zeke. Thanks, Vito.
See you guys.
Thanks
See
for
y'all,
this.
bye.
Thanks for hand sanitizer. Guys, tonight at 9 p.m. Guys, be good to each other. Continue to be good to me. God bless.